Dolphin Anty gets recommended constantly in media buying circles, and like every popular anti-detect browser, a lot of that recommendation is affiliate driven. So let me give you the honest version. Today I want to look at Dolphin Anty specifically through the eyes of a media buyer, someone running many advertising accounts, and be straight about what it does well, where it fits, and where the hype outruns the reality. No undetectable promises, just what the tool actually is. Quick note on where this comes from. I run real proxy and cloud phone farms, and I test these browsers on live setups the way operators use them. Any verdict here is tied to what Dolphin Anty genuinely does, not to a commission structure, and not to a claim that any browser keeps accounts from getting banned, because none can. What Dolphin Anty actually is. Start playing. Dolphin Anty is a Chromium-based anti-detect browser built around managing lots of accounts, with a clear lean toward advertising and media buying. Each profile is a separate browser environment with its own fingerprint, cookies, and proxy, and the whole interface is organized for handling many of them at once. It became popular in the affiliate world, specifically because it made running a stable of advertising accounts more manageable, and that focus shows throughout the product. Affected is a free tier. One honest reason for its popularity is that Dolphin Anty has historically offered one of the more generous free plans in the category, letting you keep a real number of profiles at no cost. That lowered the barrier for newcomers enormously, which is a big part of why the media buying crowd adopted it. The free tier is genuinely useful for learning the tool and running a small set of accounts, and it is a fair way to evaluate whether the product fits before paying, which not every competitor makes as easy. Built for account management, where Dolphin Anty earns its media buyer reputation is account management. It gives you tags, statuses, notes, and organization tools, so a large set of advertising accounts does not become an unmanageable list. For someone juggling many accounts across campaigns, that structure is not a nice to have. It is the difference between control and chaos. This is the part of the product that reflects its real audience, and it is done thoughtfully enough that it is a legitimate reason to choose it over a more generic tool. The Cookie Robot. A feature worth calling out is its cookie collection tool, sometimes called a cookie robot, which visits sites to build up a believable cookie history for a profile automatically. The thinking is sound. A profile with a plausible browsing history reads more naturally than a spotless brand new one. It is a real convenience, though it is not magic, and a thoughtlessly generated history can look as unnatural as none at all. Used with judgment, it helps a profile feel lived in, which is genuinely useful for accounts that need to look established. On fingerprints, Dolphin Anty generates coherent profiles out of the box and lets you adjust the usual surfaces. As with any tool, the important thing in testing is not that it can change values. They all can. It is whether the values agree with each other and stay stable across reloads. Dolphin Anty generally produces internally consistent profiles, but the honest rule still applies. You verify each one against a public checker rather than trusting the defaults, because no tool is immune to the odd inconsistency slipping through. Proxies are still your job. Here is the part the affiliate reviews skip. Dolphin Anty does not sell you proxies, and it cannot save a bad one. Every profile takes its own proxy, and that proxy is half of whether an advertising account survives. A flawless fingerprint on a data center proxy that contradicts the profile's claimed geography gets flagged regardless of how nice the interface is. So for a media buyer, the proxy quality and matching matters at least as much as the browser, and Dolphin Anty gives you good tools to attach proxies, but the sourcing and matching is on you. Team features for agencies. Media buying is often a team sport, and Dolphin Anty supports collaboration, letting multiple people work across a shared set of accounts with some role structure. For a small agency or a team running campaigns together, that matters, because passing accounts around by copying data is how cross-linking and mistakes happen. The depth of the team features scales with the paid tiers, so evaluate them against how many people actually touch your accounts. But the collaboration story is a real part of why agencies pick it, where it fits best. Being honest about fit. Dolphin Anty fits media buyers and affiliate operators running many advertising accounts who want strong account management, a generous free tier to start on, and features aimed squarely at their world. It fits that audience better than a generic anti-detect browser precisely because it was built for them. If your work is advertising accounts at scale, it belongs on your shortlist, and its focus is a genuine advantage rather than marketing, where it fits less well. It fits less well if your needs pull in another direction. If you want the deepest automation API for heavy scripting, a more developer-focused tool may serve you better. If you specifically need believable mobile device profiles, a tool that specializes in mobile emulation is a stronger match. Dolphin Anty is focused, and that focus that helps media buyers can be a limitation for someone whose work is a different shape. Pick it for what it is built for, not despite what it is built for. The affiliate hype problem, the direct warning, same as for every tool in this space. Dolphin Anty is pushed hard by affiliates, and the loudest praise often correlates with the biggest payout rather than the best fit. Any review, including of this tool, that promises your accounts will never get banned is marketing, because that is not something a browser can deliver. Judge it on the concrete strengths, account management, the free tier, the cookie tool, team features, and ignore the outcome promises entirely, because those are the part that is not true. The honest ceiling, be clear about what the tool cannot do, because that is where honesty matters most. Dolphin Anty manages the device half of the identity well, but it does not control the proxy, the behavior, or how a platform's detection shifts over time. It reduces one class of problem, inconsistent or linkable fingerprints, and leaves the rest to you. An advertising account can still get flagged for its proxy, its behavior, or a policy change, and no setting in Dolphin Anty changes that. It is a good tool with a real ceiling like all of them. How to evaluate it yourself. The useful test is concrete and quick. Pick the free plan, create 2 profiles, attach a real proxy to each, and run each profile through a public fingerprint checker while running the proxies through a separate reputation and geolocation lookup. Confirm the device and network stories agree. Try the cookie tool and the account management on a small scale. An afternoon of that tells a media buyer whether Dolphin Anty fits their workflow far more reliably than any review, including this one, because it measures your actual setup, the interface and daily feel. A tool you use all day lives or dies on its interface, and Dolphin Anty leans into being workable at volume. The layout is organized around lists of profiles with the tags and statuses a media buyer needs to keep campaigns straight, and it generally stays responsive as the profile count grows. It is not the lightest tool in the category, but it is built for people who spend hours inside it managing accounts, and that shows in how the account management surfaces are laid out. The daily feel is one of its genuine strengths for its intended audience. Profile import and migration. A practical concern that catches people is moving profiles in and out. Dolphin Anty supports importing profiles and cookies, which matters when you are consolidating accounts from elsewhere or setting up in bulk. Migration between anti-detect tools is generally painful across the whole category, so the more a tool eases getting your profiles in, the less locked in you feel. It is worth testing this early if you're coming from another browser, because discovering a migration is awkward after you have committed is a common and avoidable frustration. The pricing ladder for media buyers. Be honest about the money beyond the free tier. Dolphin Anty's paid plans scale with profile count and features, so as your account roster grows, so does the bill, and team seats push it further. That is the normal shape for this category, and it means your cost tracks your scale. For a media buyer, the sensible approach is to prove the tool on the generous free tier, then step up to exactly the bracket your account count needs. And remember, the proxy spend rides on top of the subscription and often exceeds it at volume. Reach stability at ad account volume. The thing a free tier cannot show you is how the tool holds up when you are running a serious number of advertising accounts at once, which is exactly when stability matters most. A browser that is smooth with 3 profiles can strain with 100, and a proxy pool going bad across many accounts at once is a real stress test. Dolphin Anty has a large active user base in the media buying world, which generally means these issues get attention, but you only feel the true stability story at your own volume, so treat it as an unknown to verify as you scale. How it compares to ads power. Media buyers often weigh Dolphin Anty against ads power, so a quick honest contrast helps. Both are Chromium-based and built for many accounts. Ads power leans harder into automation, exposing Selenium and Playwright hooks and a visual builder even on free. Dolphin Anty leans into account management and its media buying focus with its cookie tool and campaign-oriented organization. If you automate heavily, ads power may edge ahead. If your world is advertising account management specifically, Dolphin Anty's focus fits more naturally. It is a fit question, not a better or worse one. A realistic first week. Here's what a sensible first week looks like for a media buyer. Take the free plan, create 2 or 3 profiles, attach a real proxy to each, and verify everyone against a public fingerprint checker while checking the proxies through a separate reputation lookup. Try the cookie tool on one profile and the tagging and status system across all of them. Use them normally for a few days and watch for anything that feels off. By the end of the week, you will know whether the tool fits how you actually run accounts, which is the only question the free tier needs to answer. So the honest look, Dolphin Anty is a capable, media buyer-focused anti-detect browser with a genuinely generous free tier and strong account management, and it earns its reputation in that niche. It is not magic, the proxy work is still yours, and the affiliate hype around it should be tuned out. The full written review, tested hands-on, with proxies attached, and no undetectable promises anywhere, is at antidetectreview.org. If this gave you a straighter read than the affiliate crowd, subscribe, because next up I am covering browser profiles and team workflows, and how to share accounts without cross-linking them. See you in the next one.